How you doing, guys? Big Mac Dan School here again today, back once again with another episode of Warhammer Thoughty K from the car again. So I've not recorded a video. It's now Sunday morning and I'm on my way home from my mum and dad's. I thought I'd record the video on the way home rather than letting you wait even longer. I can just upload it when I get home then. Anyway, after that nice little ramble, today's video, I just want to do a quick shout out. And, oh, I hope you can hear me right. I've got my window down a touch. There we go, it's up now. I just want to do a quick shout out, and it's for 6 Plus Stevo. And also, I'm going to be talking about Orks. And the reason I'm doing a shout out for 6 Plus Stevo is because I think he's got just over 60 subscribers. But he does some really cool Ork content. He does like tactics videos. I remember seeing a Deathcopter tactics video, and he does wishlist videos for the Ork Codex. Now that is what today's video is about as well. So what I'll do, I'll pop a link in the description below to 6 Plus Stevo's channel, and you just follow that if you want more Ork content, because he puts out more than me. You'd think a channel called Big Mac Dan School would put out a fair bit of Ork content, but it's really rare these days that I put out Ork content, because I'm interested in that many different armies. I've got that many projects on the go that it's you know, the Ork videos are few and far between, really. But onto the subject of today's video is the wish list for the Ork Codex. Now, what do I want in an Ork Codex? The main thing I want in an Ork Codex is we're going to get clan rules anyway. It's inevitable. All other armies have got chapter-specific rules for Space Marines. Necrons have just been released. They've got Dynasty rules. The Drukhari, Dark Eldar, they're up for pre-order this week with their Codex. They've got the Obsessions, which seem really cool. It enables you to play different types of Dark Eldar forces. So you can play witch cults, you can play Kabbalite forces, you can play homunculus covens, all sorts of things like that. Some of the rules in there are great. Now, what do I want in particular from clan rules? Now, Big Mac Dan School is my warlord. I've not actually built his model yet, but when I do get round to building the model and painting him, it'll be a Death Skull. You can see a picture. It's my avatar on YouTube, so if you want to see an idea of what I want him to look like, you can check out my avatar. It was a bit of artwork done by Richard at the Nerd Life, formerly Tattoo For You. I say that every time, but he's not been Tattoo For You for quite some time now. But yeah, formerly Tattoo For You, the Nerd Life, so go check out his channel as well. He did that piece of artwork for me. Basically, it's supposed to represent me in Ork form on the battlefield, kind of thing. So I'll be converting an Ork model, or, you know, kit bashing, scratch building, that kind of thing, an Ork model to look like this piece of artwork, hopefully. And yeah, he's a Death Skull anyway. That was the point I was trying to make here before I went off on a big ramble. He's a Death Skull, which is one of the clans. Now, Death Skulls are famous for looting things and liking to loot things. So for me, rules for the Death Skulls, they've got to be quite thematic. Now, I've heard a lot of people say they think it was in 2nd edition. I think it was Chapter Master Valrat talking on a video I was watching the other day. He said he thinks in 2nd edition Orks could basically take any vehicle in the game and a decreased stat line sort of thing, and have it as a looted vehicle, which would be great, but I can't see GW doing that. They might do, and if they do, that's fantastic. We definitely need some form of looted vehicle in the Codex for me, even if it's just the classic looted wagon that we've seen in the past couple of editions. They didn't actually formally put it in the last Codex, though. It was a data sheet available in White Dwarf, back when White Dwarf was a weekly magazine. And yeah, so the looted wagon. Now, a spin on that, I think, for clan rules could be that any vehicle destroyed by Death Skulls in close combat can then be shot by the Ork player at Ork ballistic skill. The weapons on that vehicle can be shot by the Ork player at Ork ballistic skill, just once before it explodes, before it's destroyed the vehicle. Something along those lines. So it's not. It doesn't get ridiculous then. In my opinion, it's not like saying the Ork player then controls that vehicle, because then they've just got 3 points. And that's something I know a lot of people don't like. So something along those lines, something really thematic would be cool for me. What else do I want? There's new models, rumours of new models and stuff, and Ghazghkull Thraka being a Primarch. Now, I really do want that. I want him to be as powerful as a Primarch. Having the ability to take on Reboot Gilliman in combat, or Magnus, or Mortarion, or Fulgrim when he comes out, it's inevitable, isn't it, really? They've just released is it Daughters of Cain, with the Slaneshi bodies and stuff like that, and they look great, them models, I think. So doing something like that is definitely within the realms of possibility for GW. They clearly have the techniques available. Anyway, I'm rambling again. So what else do we want? Yeah, so Primarch rather. I don't think we'll get a Primarch option in the Codex. I think what it'll be is just Ghazghkull. He'll be the Primarch level stat line. I think hopefully he'll get a buff, and hopefully he will get a new model. Again, it was a video by Chapter Master Valrak, where he was sent an image. I think it was on the White Dwarf preview for next week's White Dwarf. There's a battle report between Orks and someone. It's a recreation of an old battle report, and there's sort of what looks like an Ork construct sort of silhouetted on the image. Now, in my opinion, and I think we'll see this week when people start getting their hands on White Dwarf, in my opinion, that looks like it's probably just a kit bash model, like someone's taken a knight and kit bashed it, and it's a conversion. It looks like it's got sort of a killer can claw on it. So I think it's probably just someone's conversion that is being used in the battle report. But it would be interesting to see a greater variety of vehicles like that in the Ork force. But I don't necessarily think we need more walkers, more can-like vehicles. One thing about Orks is the vehicles look a certain way, like the Stomper. To me, the Stomper looks a bit like a traffic cone. I don't love the look of it. And the Gorkanaut, it's got like a big sort of pot belly look, and it looks like it could barely move. I'm not a huge fan of that. That was one of the reasons I started a while ago a conversion of a drop pod into a Gorkanaut, but I've made it look quite similar to a Gorkanaut anyway. So I'm not a huge fan of the Ork vehicle, so coming out with something like that, although I'd appreciate it, something more like an Imperial Knight, although I'd appreciate it, I can't see GW doing that, because I think they do like to keep the Ork vehicles looking a certain way. Now, what else clan rules wise could we have? So Speed Freaks aren't a clan, are they? What's that clan called where there's loads of Speed Freaks? Or is it Speed Freaks? Are they a clan? So rules like red ones go faster, we've seen in the past. Having a clan rule like that for the approach, it is Speed Freaks, isn't it? That's the clan. I can't think now. But having a clan rule where extra movement, extra movement rules, like you can move again, as if you hadn't moved after you shot, something like that. Like the rule used to be for the Eldar jet bikes, where you could. It was battle focused, wasn't it? It wasn't just the Eldar jet bikes; it was a whole Eldar force. It was an army-wide rule. Something along those lines would be really cool for Speed Freaks, where they can move, shoot, and then move again. Or what is more likely to happen is they'll just get an automatic 6 to advance, something like that. Goths, what would Goths benefit from? Goths would benefit from, they're supposed to be the biggest and toughest of the Orks, and the ones that like to get in there and fight hand to hand more than any other clan. So they're going to benefit from extra attacks more than likely. It'd be interesting to see whether they get a strength bonus or something like that. But I think it's more than likely going to be extra attacks, or they get to fight twice, or something along those lines. Like there's a rule for the flash kits at the minute where after they've shot, you roll. I think this is the rule. It's been a while since I've played them, but I think the rule is after you've shot, you roll a d6. On a roll of a 6, you get to make another shooting attack. They could do something like that with the Goths, where after every combat, you roll a d6. On a 6, they get to attack again. The same number of attacks they had in the first combat phase. What other clans have we got? Snake bites. They could have poison attacks on the weapons, because the snake bites are the sort of the fluff for the clan. The feral sort of orcs, and they don't use technology as much. Maybe they can't take vehicles, but they've got poison attacks on the weapons, and they are resistant to poison, something along those lines. How much benefit that would give them, I'm not too sure. There's not that many armies with a load of poison out there, so whether making them resistant to poison attacks. I don't even know if poison attacks exist in. I think they must do. They must exist in one form or another. Speed freaks, Goths, deaf schools. Who else have we got? Bad moons. Now, what are bad moons? Bad moons are famous for having mechs, so famous for having mechs that build the best vehicles, and the sort of the richest of the Orks. So how could you translate that into a battlefield role? It's a difficult one, that one, Bad Moons, I think, because I don't fully understand that clan. I think you can tell from this rambling nature of this video, I don't fully understand all the clans. But yeah, it's how can you have Bad Moons? I don't know, maybe not paying for upgrades or something like that, because that wouldn't really work there, would it, in a competitive sense? You have free upgrades, because it'd be too powerful, more than likely. Free weapons upgrades and stuff. So there's just a few thoughts for you, clearly not thought out thoughts on what I would be wanting from an Ork Codex, and from clan rules basically. That's the only thing I've touched on. I've hinted at other things like Ghazghkull. I think Ghazghkull's sculpt now, he's supposed to be, Orks are supposed to be a bit like the Incredible Hulk, where the longer they fight for, the bigger they get, and Hulk is, the angrier he gets, the bigger he gets. So Orks are supposed to be a bit like that, but on the tabletop, in the models, you don't really see that. If you compare the Ghazghkull model now to the Gruk Face Ripper model, which is now the Ork Warboss model, he's about the same size, and Ghazghkull's in mega armor as well, so it doesn't really add up. What I would like to see is a Ghazghkull the size of, I'd like to see him the size of a Gorkanaut. I can't see that happening, but I'd love to see him the size of a Gorkanaut. I'd like to see GW release just a side thought here. I'd like to see GW release the plastic Deathcopters that were in, I think they were in Assault on Black Reach. I'd like to see them release them as a standalone kit. You can get hold of them, or you could, in the UK, it was in a computer game store called Game, and it was these sort of easy to build, or build and paint, build and collect, sort of a weird sort of, it was a re-release of the Black Reach stuff basically. You had them, and you had Space Marines in it, and but I'd like to see them release them in the stores. Either that, or just come up with a new kit for it. So I've pretty much touched on everything I want to touch on there, I think. Is there anything else? It'd be interesting to see if they brought out more grot models, but I can't really see them having a reason to do that, or more like incorporating squigs more into an 40k Ork force would be interesting. Obviously in Age of Sigmar and previously in Warhammer Fantasy, you've had the goblins who ride squigs and stuff like that, but I can't really see that happening. But squigoths, if they made a plastic squigoth kit, that'd be cool for snakebite players especially. I don't know how many snakebite players there are out there. But yeah, there's just a few thoughts anyway. I've rambled on long enough now. I'm almost home. I didn't mean to ramble on for this long. So we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to check out 6+ Stevo and Tattoo for You. I'll pop links to both the channels in the description below. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you on the battlefield.